Look here at this spreadsheet, which I know you're thinking, why would I ever want to play a game with a spreadsheet? Right. Well, as I've mentioned in other videos, it's a creative game, an extremely creative game, but it's also an extremely technical game. Not complex. Don't be afraid of it, but you know, it's something that I have generated 15 characters for us using this tool. This is a tool that's in development, so this is like pre-alpha. Shouldn't really be showing the public this, but I am anyway. And this tool is how you make characters in my game. So the basic idea is that I made 5 for me, 5 for one of my friends, and 5 for another person that's going to play this game tonight with me. And we choose one of these characters, and that's going to be our character. We can rename the character at that point and sort of modify anything that we want to and make it our own. And that's called stewarding, right? And so the core of the game of the character, like the character's, core, I'm going to call it stats or skills. We call them roles, but the core stuff you don't really change. They have flaws, which, it's something that you'd probably want to talk with your game master before you go changing too much stuff. But like renaming a class or renaming the character is all within the realms of, stewarding. And you choose one of these characters and notice that these characters are various levels, right? So, and they'll have various amounts of wealth. And the idea is that you actually get to play a role, right? You're not just all teenagers, right? Or whatever in a party that goes out and has the Lord of the Rings adventure. But even if you think of the Lord of the Rings, none of those characters were equal to each other in any way, hardly. And so I guess you kind of had 3 tiers. You had Gimli, Legolas, Aragorn. Then you had the Hobbits. And then you had Gandalf, who was super powerful. And so, like, that's sort of the tiers. And that's kind of how this game works, is that you have tiers of people. And that's your potential tier here. This is kind of like your talent level. And then you have everything else that you just kind of... So anyway, the point is we all choose our characters and then we start playing them. And so let's just say hypothetically that I looked through mine, I chose that one, my friend chose this one, and somebody else chose this one, right? So we just copy those guys down, and those are our 3 characters. Then we're going to fight some people in our game, and so what we're going to do is just maybe save these guys out to a new spreadsheet. Dun, 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 dun. Super hard. And then... what we're going to do is eventually this will all be automatic. I, for some reason, cannot move my little picture down here. It doesn't want to move. Okay. So we're just going to clear it. And then what we're going to do is I want a bunch of raiders or bandits. And we're going to have to probably generate more than just a few characters for that. So I'm going to generate 150 characters. And what I'm going to do is then I'm going to filter it and just try and find the ones that are adults and that look like they could be raiders, right? So I'm just going to really quickly, let's just sort it ascending there. And then let's filter this to just be adults. Okay. Middle-aged and adults. We could do young adult too. And then, all right. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and just grab the men for now, although that's really sexist of me to say that our bandits are all men. But just for the time being, let's just do it. So basically, we've got this group of guys here. These are our bandits, right? So we just copy these guys over, stick them on the other sheet, and... we've got us and we've got our bandits, right? So as you can see, one of these guys is level 10, so that's going to be a major issue. But the thing is that when you play the game, you don't necessarily know that. If we wanted to balance this out, we would say that we're not going to fight these bandits directly. There's going to be a group of merchants which have guards, and they're going to fight. They're going to help us fight. We're just a part of the fight, right? So that's how this game basically ends up organizing this stuff. Now, how do you make this data usable? That's simple. Is we end up exporting it either currently there's no virtual tabletop that supports an importing like this. So what we have to do is we have to export it into a different means to basically make it legible. And then what we do is in our virtual tabletop, we just make tokens with with pictures or whatever for all these different characters. Maybe give it a first name. So, you know, you have to go in and make 20 tokens, give them all a first name so you can find out which character it's, you know, it matches. So this is the first name column here. So I would just, you know, drag it over, and I would then say, you know, these are all, just match it up, right? And there's another program which we have to use. In the future, this tool will have an interface which is easy to use, and it will export data to a separate program called Airtable, which, let me just log into my Airtable account and show you how that works. Airtable. And I've got a bunch of goblins in this that I've done in the past. And so this is, you have a database in here, and the database is powering this interface is what they call it. And this is a free tool, I might add, so you don't have to pay for it. But this is what you'd be looking at when it comes to how to run the game. You click on somebody, you get all their stats, right? And you could even affect these stats or change them right here in this if you wanted to. I think you can set it to where you can just go ahead and change it. So this is not currently set up for my game. This was an old project, but this is what I'm building. And so the idea is that eventually, hopefully, virtual tabletops will support this. But if they never do, that's okay. Then we'll just use a Excel to Airtable sort of workflow. And you could have, notice there's a filter and a sort here. So we could sort by lineage, has the name goblin in it, right? It's only going to show me the goblins, right? And so you could filter this by anything, and it could be, you know, by city, by faction, by race, by, you know, whether they're a bandit or not, by job, by age, like anything. All of that's all fair game for how to go about filtering the characters in your world and finding what you're looking for. So then what happens is that's how you'd play a night of this game. You know, it's very quickly to set up a battle if you want to do a battle. If you want to do more of a different type of story, then you either draw a battle map really quick, or you find one online from your favorite creators and you import it into your virtual tabletop, you know, add in some tokens, and you're good to go. Then you're ready to start farming crops or whatever it is you want to do. But whatever it is typically has more than just 5 or 6 characters at a time. So that's why this system is made to support all of that. All right, so that pretty much gets you the idea of how the game plays. My favorite, let me just load up Alchemy here and show you sort of how we've been using it in Alchemy in the actual. If you're not familiar with virtual tabletop, this is a virtual tabletop, my preferred one. It's currently just coming out. This artwork is not final, and so just know that I don't have the rights to much of this artwork, so I probably shouldn't have it in this video, but I will update the video soon and take it out. But let's just go to something that I do have the rights to is this one, we'd made the battle map on this one. So here you can see a battle map, and you would just import your tokens straight into here, right? And sort of has these battle maps that we make specifically fade away into the distance, into the ether kind of thing, and that's sort of what we want for all of our maps. Is it sort of gives this nice feel, and you just, this is how it works. And if you want to roll dice, they're right here. So very simple way to run the game, to bring it into a game like Alchemy, or to a virtual tabletop like Alchemy. Takes just a few minutes. My game is basically designed so that 30 minutes you can have your evening set up, and if plans change, you can switch gears in just 5 or 10 minutes at most to get something new set up. If somebody doesn't follow the direction you thought they were going to, then you can switch gears. So that's the game and the basics of it, and how you would bring it into a virtual tabletop and get it set up in just a few minutes, and how you would, there's one more thing, and that is your character sheets. So I'm in the process of finishing this one. But the same Excel spreadsheet that is powering this Airtable database of all the characters also can be used to import your character into what we call your character book. And what that will do is it'll basically take the information from the spreadsheet, import it into a Word or Pages document. I don't have the rights to this art either, so let me just delete that. And it will, make all of the major stuff here is all just sort of filled out for you, right? So, but this is how a character sheet looks, and you would have a whole book of these character sheets for all the people that you were stewarding. In addition to that, there's a bunch of other content that you track, and the nice thing about these documents versus like D&D Beyond is it's searchable. You want to find personas, right? Guess what? It's super easy. You just use the find tool and sorry, I need to find the word persona, and I need to not match case. All right. So, but once you do that, then you can find, are you serious? Don't match case. Then you can find all the personas in the document. So you do have to learn how to use some tools, right? But once you learn to use the tools, which are not hard to learn, not only do you have a skill that will last a lifetime, but two, it's actually a pretty dang good system that's editable, expandable, contractible, and databaseable, right? It's just the system is so much better inside of a document like this than it is on somebody else's server. I think it's the way to go. I really do. So anyway, that's the basics of the game. I know this was a little bit long, but thanks for sticking around till the end. I look forward to seeing you in some of our games later.